everyone doing today? Big plans? I know that I'm going to try to go after this. My wife.
So I downloaded the PowerPoint.
I know that I'm going to try to go.
All right, hey, we're live on Facebook.
After this. My wife.
So I downloaded the PowerPoint.
I know that I'm going to try to go.
All right, hey, we're live on Facebook.
After this. My wife.
So I downloaded the PowerPoint.
Cool. I'll try to upload it. See if it lets
Janet,
me.
I don't know if you can chime on in here and maybe walk us through this, but I know I definitely keep getting this error message when I'm trying to pull this up. All right, hang on. I think I might. Oh, got it.
No?
Nah. Weird. Yeah, I keep getting this error message. Not working there. Yeah, Janet, we're just trying to. Janet, if you want to, I don't know, maybe you can send me your.
Boom.
Hey, there we go. You got it on, dude. All right, cool.
Just trying to see how.
How'd you end up
the
doing
struggle is real on Saturday morning.
All right, hey, we're good. We're good. We're good. Woohoo!
Man, just learning on the fly. All right, guys. Well,
So you did
without
it-
wasting any more. Yeah, presentation mode worked.
All right, perfect.
And
There you go.
How does this? If you guys could just drop a comment in below and see, and let me know how this looks on your screen, and make sure that
It
you
looks
can
great.
see.
It looks great from here, dude.
All right, perfect. We're just going to send it then, without wasting any more time with any more technical difficulties, guys. All right. So what we wanted, the main objective today is to cover some key points in your email methods and tips and tricks that you can use to increase your conversion rates and start treating your email marketing campaign like a ninja marketing boss. All right, because there's not a lot of guidelines out there specifically on how to craft your broadcast email best practices, the ratio, like how many messages of value per how many messages of sales. And with call to actions, that is a huge critical piece of your message, because ultimately the goal of the message is to get someone to click that call to action. So we're going to give you tips on some power and action words on how to craft that call to action to just spark that curiosity and have someone want to click on that link to see what's on the other end of it and watch that video, or get them to do whatever it is that you want them to do. And Dan's made a really good, quick video of this at the GVO headquarters on how to make your images within your emails clickable. But, not everyone's seen that, and that's not available to everyone. So we've just got a quick slide covering that. But ultimately, the objective of this is to just increase your conversion rates and get you a little bit more consistent, and see kind of the behind-the-scenes stuff of, how Dan, myself, Shane, a lot of the other NLS top leaders are going about their email, because it is a huge critical component of your business. All right, so that first piece with crafting your message, a critical thing to think about with crafting your messages is to know your audience, all right? And what I mean by know your audience is you've got to think from the customer's perspective and their mindset and where they are in your system, right? It's all about getting eyeballs to your traffic and to your piece. But what piece are they at? Are they a pre-enrollment member? Are they a free member? Or did they take action? And are they already, a paid member? Or if they're just cold and they don't know anything about NLS, you have to hit them from that perspective. So that's a big piece of knowing your audience. The rest of the key points as far as subject lines, you want to take your time in crafting a creative, thoughtful subject line, because if someone just sees something that says like, hey, open this up, and check out what I have going on. Like, there's no thought, there's no emotion, there's nothing triggered that someone's going to want to take action and read your subject line, because you are competing with hundreds of other marketers and other companies. They're all using email marketing. So take the time to craft thoughtful, creative subject lines. Below the headline and signature images. You lose
Something
me?
to think about real quick too is with your subject lines. Now, you guys may or may not have heard the term clickbait. Now, clickbait is something that will get an email open because the headline is very either it's in your face, it poses a very interesting question. You want to keep your headlines intriguing, and you oftentimes, I try to about 75-80% of the time we'll ask a question in the subject line, but make sure that the subject line has to do with the body of the email, because if you put something like free $500 value and then they click on the email and it has nothing to do with $500 or value, then people are going to get pissed and they're going to unsubscribe from your list. So just make sure that your subject line has to do directly with what's in the body, but keep it intriguing, ask a question, and make sure that there's something there that gets people to click. Ask yourself, like, if you got that email, would you open it up yourself? If somebody sent that to you, would you open it yourself? Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, and thanks, and definitely interrupt me, Dan, because sometimes I just go off on these little tangents, and I'm in my own head,
Okay.
and I'm not thinking of your perspective, and it's definitely a two-way street. Like, I've learned from Dan, ILT, like, I've learned from Dan, and now I'm sending it back, but it's all congruent. It all goes back around, and it's important to share, each of our perspectives on, like, what's working in our best techniques. So thank you, Dan, for that. And yeah, and just to kind of piggyback on what he said with the subject lines and your body, it's all about being congruent. Like, you want to make sure that your subject line kind of ties into the overall message that you want to deliver in the body of your broadcast or your email swipe or whatever message that you're trying to get out. Excuse me. This is something that Dan and I do consistently. I have a headline image it's a picture of myself and my wife, and we're sitting off to the right side of the picture, and it's like a horizontal banner image, and it's got my main domain name on there. I use Imager to post it within Now Lifestyle, and I've used Canva to put the link on the image. So it's just something to think about to make it consistent, and that's part of building your brand as far as your email, because when people open it, they're going to see that same image, like, oh, okay, I remember this guy, Daniel Kump. And then you're just kind of building that rapport, nurturing and growing your list at the same exact time. With the bottom image, whenever I sign off, I'll write, Matthew, and then below that, I'll have a circular image of, my mug, and I'll make it clickable to my Facebook profile. So that's something that I do consistently. Probably the last, I don't even know, 1,000 emails that I've sent, I've used those same pictures for everything. The structure and flow of your email, just make sure it's thought out. Like, it's about knowing your audience and delivering the message in a consistent, kind of enjoyable way that your customer is going to read the message, right? You're going to have an intro, body, and a closing, but make sure it's got flow. And we're going to be able to start seeing how that's going to all tie in together by using some of those call to action words, by using power words, persuasive words, things of that nature. And then that last key point is be authentic, man. If there's anything you're going to take away from building your brand within emails, is be your authentic self. Like, don't put crap in your message, like, with Now Lifestyle, I was able to lose 50 pounds. If you haven't lost 50 pounds, be authentic, be your true self, because you don't lie to your subscribers and your list. You're growing that rapport, and kind of telling your story. And definitely don't, like, false claims. You don't want to put any of that stuff in there. Like, with Now Lifestyle, I was able to create $20,000 a month. Keep it real. Keep it to yourself. It's your story. If you want to share testimonials, you can use a mentor story or someone else's story within Now Lifestyle. All right, so there's dozens of different types of messages that you can use to broadcast. But below, I've just jotted down a couple that I think are most relevant and most important. And we'll get into the frequency after. We're just going to kind of touch base on the types that you can
Matt,
send.
just a quick thing here.
So obviously, shoot, brother.
Yeah, I just want to remind everybody too that's watching this either live on the Facebook feed or here on the webinar, or if you guys watch this after. Most of the stuff that we're talking about has to do with your broadcast messages. Although, yes, you definitely want to have follow-up messages. So in other words, after somebody goes through your capture page, you want to have a sequence of follow-up emails that go out either 3, 5, 7, 5 to 7 days is preferred. So that way you get at least 6 or 7 points of contact with that new subscriber. But what we're specifically talking about right now is sending out broadcast emails. So emails that go out on a consistent basis every day from you or every other day from you. And we'll get into the frequency part in a second. And I know it says right here, broadcast emails, best practices, but I just want everybody to realize that these are daily emails that you're sending out to communicate with your list. Things that add value, that teach them how to do things, that get them to click, again, call to action, getting them to click on your link. So, if you're brand new and you don't know what a broadcast message is, then either get with your upline sponsor or continue to watch this. But these are consistent emails that you're going to send, and also keep in mind too, if you're brand new, if you just started and you really don't have a list, or you're not comfortable or familiar with emailing your list every single day, that's totally okay. And nobody expects you to sign up yesterday and today you're going to start being an email marketing rock star. It's okay. It's not going to happen overnight. And it's the same thing for me. It took me a while to get to that point. There's tons and tons and tons of training videos. When you guys look in the shared file folder, you guys will see all of that information too. So there's lots of videos out there. There's videos on YouTube. Get with the people in the group. Just you got to eat a steak, a really big steak, a really big apple, an elephant, whatever you want to call it, just one bite at a time. But I just wanted to reiterate that specifically we're talking about your daily consistent communication, not necessarily your follow-up series. Go ahead, Matt. You there, buddy? You frozen?
Cool. Thanks, Dan. A little
cool.
bit of clarification, kind of, yep. All right, so we left off on sales, to other types of messages. You can send updates within the LS community. Am I back? Good?
Yeah, I think there was a little delay there.
Okay, so I'm just going to repeat what I said because I don't know if I was frozen during that. So we've got updates. We just went live to the public last Tuesday. NLS offers a free account. Those are types of updates that you want to include in your daily broadcast. Testimonials, you can share team results, your own results, your mentor's results. This tip, I think, is one of the most important, is connect with followers via social media. And what I mean by that is you're always trying to connect and grow that relationship, but try to get them to connect on Facebook. So below my image link, I'll always have a link like, hey, connect with me on Facebook. And then, if you have any questions, you can reach out and we can chat on the messenger. And then just start growing that relationship via Facebook versus your email. It's a little more personal. And then the big part of broadcast is just you need to send it home with the value, right? You're showing that you're an authority within Now Lifestyle and that you can show them the way to build a business. And you're doing that by, you're setting the example and you're showing them exactly the steps that you take in all different aspects of your business. Dan, anything else you want to add on that, or we're going to roll to the next one?
Yeah, I think, when you can testimonials are really, really great. So when you can edify other people, one of the last things that you want to do, if you're sending out an email every single day and you're constantly bragging about yourself, it's just not, the credibility is going to run out. So when you can edify others and say, I'll give you guys an example. One of the emails that converts the best for me, that gets me the most clicks and gets the most people to join into the opportunity, is literally the subject line is congratulations to ... So again, it leaves it intriguing. Congratulations to who, to what? And it gets people to open the email and usually have to say, hey, congratulations to the following 10 all-stars. And I'll list 10 people that recently joined. And in the body of the email, I'll say things like, these 10 rock stars made the smart decision to get started today, or get started yesterday, get started this week. And, they watched this video, hint, they watched this video and made the smart decision to create their free account, link. And, guess what? Since, these 10 people joined, I've actually opened up 2 more spots to personally mentor, my next students this month. I only have room for so many people, but if you're interested, grab one of the last 2 remaining spots, click here. But again, congratulations to these 10 people for making their decision to start their new business, So you're edifying other people, you're saying congratulations, you're giving praise, and then you have that time sensitivity in there, like, hey, there's only 2 spots left to be mentored by myself, to be mentored by a top leader, to be mentored by Matt or somebody or anybody, or to whatever it is, but create a little scarcity, a little call to action, throw some praise in there. Excuse me. But testimonials and edifying other people in your emails is fantastic. You guys should definitely use that if you can.
Let's see if I'll make sure And I've got a visitor at the door. I'm just going to keep rolling, though. Hey, for those of you that said that the sound is broken up, you can go ahead and turn the videos off and just listen to the sound. That'll come through a lot clearer. Okay, with popular times to send, this is all open source that I've got from just doing a quick Google search, and these are the most popular times, midday, midweek. However, something to consider is that you're mixing with a lot of the competition. In the popular times, 8 to 11 a.m. and then 1 to 3 p.m. What I do is, I have here skip Monday, but I don't always skip Monday, but it's something to think about. If you're sending an email to your list, and it's like an exciting broadcast message, and then you're sending that to someone who works the 9 to 5, I don't know about you, but when I worked the 9 to 5, I freaking hated Mondays. Like, Monday is like, you have the Sunday scaries, and then you lead right into Mondays. Mondays suck, so they're going to get this email how, you're creating a lifestyle of time and financial freedom while they're stuck at work. It's been a concern, but I wouldn't deter that from you, with broadcasting daily on Monday. Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
For a second.
Shoot.
So one of the things to think about, and Matt, you were kind of like just scratching the surface of it, is for the folks that work that Monday through Friday job, think about this. Think about you need to experiment with when you're going to send your emails out. Now, what we're showing you here is kind of like a guideline, but experiment. Go 1 week and send them all out at 9 p.m. Go another week and send them all out at 5 p.m. And then look at your open rates and see, that's part of that last bullet there that says test. And see what converts better for you. But think about this for a second. Like, you guys all have the ability to connect with other people. So Matt just said himself, like, you get the Sunday scaries. Like, I know when I was working, I hated Sunday nights. I hated going to bed on Sunday. I knew that once my head hit the pillow, like, my weekend was over. And you got to start thinking of, like, oh man, my alarm's going to go off at 4 a.m. I really don't want to do that. So think about this. Think about if you sent an email out at 6 o'clock on a Sunday, that said, don't want to go to bed tonight, or dreading going to bed tonight, question mark, or, I bet you're not looking forward to tomorrow, ... And you sent that out on a Sunday night, and then you send an email out on a Monday morning, so the opposite effect, you send an email out on a morning that says, how's your Monday going, question mark, and then you tell a story in your Monday email, or on Friday, something like, looking forward to the weekend, ... Maybe send that out on a Thursday, but just think about the different subject lines on the different days of the week that you could use to get emails open, as long as the body and the subject has to do with the subject line. But just all you got to do is just, I think sometimes we think too hard that we have to come up with the perfect phrase, the perfect sentence, the perfect subject line, but just think about how you want to connect with people, what type of story you want to tell, and just be realistic. The average person works Monday through Friday. So what is something that you can connect with them and get them to open your email with? Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, for sure, man. And like, it's so good to hear your perspective, because, like sometimes I'll skip Mondays or sometimes I'll do it. I'll broadcast on Mondays, and it's really all about, testing and finding out what works. Like the next bullet point says, nothing ventured, nothing gained, right? If you don't try, you're never going to know. And the way someone responds to Dan, it might be completely different how someone responds to me. And like the way that, you connect with, the people on your list, it's going to be different. So it's really all about testing and figure out what works for you. So a little bit about the frequency of your messages, right? And that first bullet point says after follow-up sequence. If you think about that, if you broadcast after a follow-up sequence, but you're still consistently growing your list, then when are you ever going to broadcast? So it's okay to mix up your, have your follow-up series, whatever your sequence may be, whether it's 5 to 7, you can have that set. That's automatic. That's going out from the second that someone opts in, and then from every day afterward until that you run out of series. But it's okay to broadcast within there as long as you're providing value. You're connecting, you're relating to stories, and just kind of staying within the confines of what it means to send a broadcast email. Oh, Dan, looks like this isn't the one that we updated this morning. I have the second one. Multiple messages can piss off your subscriber. I meant to take that out because I don't want this to deter you from sending out multiple messages, because it's okay if someone gets two to, I would say 3 max in a day, like one follow-up, maybe a broadcast, and then if it's like you're promoting a webinar, like for instance, for this webinar, I promoted 2 hours out, and then I promoted when we were live. So in some cases, some people are getting 3. It's going to be a follow-up. They're going to get a 2-hour notification of when this webinar went live, and then a third message when we're actually live. But don't oversend where you're 6 to 7. I think that's kind of a no-brainer. We don't really need to touch up on that. And then let me just chime in on the follow-up sequence too. And this is where I get a lot of questions from my team on this too. Is that, let's say that you have a 5-email follow-up sequence going out. So meaning somebody logs into your capture page, and now there's 5 emails that are going to go out over the course of 5 days and follow up with that person. So people say, well, when do I start my broadcasts? Because if they're going through the follow-up sequence, are they also going to get my broadcast email too? And the answer is yes, 100%. And that's 100% okay. Because realize this, if you wait for somebody to get through a follow-up sequence, if you wait and then start sending them broadcast, you're never going to send broadcasts, for the same reason that you should always, every single day, be driving traffic to your capture page to get people to log into your capture page. So you're always getting new leads every single day. And if you waited for them to get through the follow-up sequence, you would never send a broadcast. So that's why you just need to mentally get past that
and know that it's okay to send a broadcast every single day, because people are still going to be going through your follow-up sequence. And also, your follow-up sequence is going to be geared. This is how I've always looked at it. Your follow-up sequence is geared towards getting them back to, the original video sales letter, the VSL, or like the enrollment page, to get them back to the enrollment page to sign up. That's the follow-up sequence. That's the purpose that serves. Your broadcast emails are a little more along the lines of providing value, telling a story, connecting with them, and obviously there should be a call to action in there to say, hey, have you seen this video yet? Click here, or whatever it is. But there are differences between, in my opinion, between the follow-up sequence versus your daily broadcasts. And it is okay to send broadcasts every single day.
For sure. 100%. Yep. So I think that last point that you hit, Dan, was it's okay to broadcast every day. I would say like once a week at a minimum, but you should definitely be broadcasting to your list way more frequently than that. Don't worry about oversending. 1 in 4 messages gets read. That's open source. So I think for the sake of time, we're just gonna go to the next slide. Sure. Okay, if you guys are getting any value from this, I want you to post a message in the chat box below and just write "send it," because it kind of relates to sending emails. All right. So the next one we're going to talk about is, man, I am lost in the sauce with this. Hold on. How often? 6. Okay, is your swipe copy. For those of you that are new, what your swipe copy is basically you're just taking copyright from other online marketers. There's a couple key points that I want to talk about swipe copies and how to use that in your own broadcast messages, because it's not a secret that we share messages from each other, because each person is inspired differently and has a different perspective in how they relate and connect, and they're creating these good and thoughtful messages that can be used to tell a story and connect and get someone to click on your call to action, which ultimately, like, that's what you want to do. You're testing and you're finding what works. So if there's someone has a great copywriting skill, or that you're subscribed to their list, utilize it. And you can do that by opting in to their list, and then creating a swipe folder with whoever your email provider is outside of NLS. You can just create that swipe folder. And then, as they come in, just click and drag and drop them in there. And then you can use that for inspiration to get some and to help you start crafting. And always change the copy. Do not take it word for word. You want to change, and Dan, you can correct me if I'm wrong here. I'll typically try to change about 25 to 30% of the copy to, it's all about branding, but, Janet dropped in the chat box below, like, it's about finding your voice and being authentic. So with that copyright, put your spin on it and give it your voice as like it would come from you and not from some other person. Was that good?
Yeah,
Dan?
no, 100%. I mean,
percentage?
Yeah, you want to change around 25 to 30% of the copy, and by copy, we literally mean the words. Ad copy is a fancy word for just saying your text or your words. So when we say 25 to 30% of the copy, that's going to change the email around to be more personal to you. And yeah, you definitely don't want to just copy it and paste it. But for me, like I use Gmail, and I have a folder that I created called Swipe Copy. And just like Janet said, like no one signed up and knew exactly what they were doing from day one. So you follow different leaders that are out there. And what's really amazing is, I follow certain leaders, and I use their swipe copy, or I use their emails all the time, and I just craft them. I just copy and paste it, and then I change around some of it to be my own, and I put my own call to action. I put my own spin on it, and it's kind of funny because over the last, I'd say, 6 months of working with Matt, I know Matt's on my email list because oftentimes I'll get Matt's emails because I've subscribed to his list as well. And Matt sends out an email. I was like, hey, nice email, buddy. And then, but then what's really awesome, what's absolutely amazing, and this is what I love about this business, this is what I love about working with leaders and that people that take this serious, is Matt recently has been writing some really great emails, and now Matt is ending up in my swipe copy folder. So it's like now I'm copying some of his emails. So it's like you really see people start to learn and development. So big kudos to you, Matt, for just really just building your brand and crafting your story over the last few months, because now I'm copying from you. So I think that's really awesome. But yeah, man, you guys just gotta, find somebody that you resonate with, find a few people that you guys resonate with, and create a little folder called Swipe Copy and start copying some of these emails. And you guys can start using them, as your own, and don't feel like you're plagiarizing anybody, because you're going to take it and you're going to turn around and you're going to make it your own. So don't worry about that at all. And just like it says in the bullet point, give them your voice. And, that's just it. And like, if you guys have great ideas for emails, then just, share those with your team or run some ideas. But, it's always good. Here's a good best practice too. Like I have a notepad saved. I have tons and tons of stuff saved in this online notepad. But one of the files that I created was subject lines. I just started creating different subject lines that I like to test. But not only I don't reference it often, but to go into that notepad every now and then and either, physically write it down on a piece of paper or type it up. The more that you write it and the more that you type it, you're going to remember it. So when you are writing your emails, you're going to be like, oh, I remember that headline I typed up about a week ago, and you might not remember it exactly, but you'll have it, close to memory because you actually took the time to write it down or record it. So, yeah, swipe copy folders are great, and always change your copy. So, hit the next slide, brother.
Yeah, man. And I love that you shared that and I want you guys to think about this. Like, yeah, this is Dan and Matt, and we're delivering this PowerPoint to you guys on best practices, but like nothing inspires me more than like the behind the scenes stuff. Like working with Dan, like I joined Dan because of Dan's message and how it resonated and how like I wanted to emulate him. Like I wanted to be a leader. So like when we like do that like behind the scenes stuff, like connecting, I'm like, man, like Dan will send an email, I'll be like, Dan, like this is freaking solid. And like he knows like when I send that reply, like, well, one, he can see it in his inbox because we're on each other's list, but he knows I'm going to take that copy and I'm giving Dan encouragement, and he's doing the same thing back to me. Like that fires me up. Like inspire each other, like, encourage the team camaraderie and like feed off of each other and just like keep that like high energy level going. Like there's like when Dan said that just like got me lit. Like it stay inspired and stay in that like
virtual
that,
high five.
Yeah, pound it, dude.
Virtual high five.
Next slide. Yeah. All right. Let's see. So this is crucial to staying consistent. All right. So the title is block time to craft your broadcasts. When I first got started, like no one's expected to just get into NLS and be this like email marketing ninja. But what we're doing here is giving you the tips and tricks and giving you those tools that you can put in your belt, your toolbox that you can pull out to just stay consistent, and then you'll start like figuring out like your daily actions and daily actions and then your weekly actions. So pick a day of the week. For me, it's Sunday. Every Sunday I'll sit down and I'll try to just bang out Monday through Saturday, or I'll just do as many as I can, and I'll just send them so they automatically go out. During the week, I don't even have to think about it. What I do want to touch on is like I do craft them all on Sunday. However, that doesn't mean I don't save other ideas and files for broadcast emails when I get them. That was a note on another slide. Like if you get an idea, write it down, put it in notes on your phone. Dan uses a notepad for subject lines and his main messages. Like write it down, because if you don't, it's going to be gone. You're like, man, what was that freaking message? And that could have been a good written email, and you could have gotten a conversion. Like with the email marketing game, like you never know what's going to work. So it's with that good idea, like save it, nurture it, let it grow, and freaking send it, man. All right. So when you pick that day and time, I'll just go into my iCalendar, and as you can see on the right side of the template, like every Sunday, broadcast. If you see that, paint the house. Last weekend we painted the entire house. It took 16 hours. It was miserable, but I still created my broadcast because it was on the calendar. It's all about staying consistent, committing to that day and time frame, and just craft, man. Like, just get in it. If you think it's stupid, it might be. Still write it, and then always test it, see how it looks, and you could even bounce it off of a mentor or someone that's on your team and see, like, hey, man, like, does this sound stupid, or is this a good broadcast message? All right,
so
value to
just
sales. Shoot.
Yeah, let me just chime in on. I want to talk specifically about time blocking, and so for me, I'm just going to give you guys a clear example. What I like to do on usually 2 days a week. 2 days a week, I will designate to writing all of my emails for the whole week. So, as an example, like I have the emails written out for the next 3 to 4 to 5 days that are already saved in my broadcast and already scheduled to go out. And now, of course, when you're in the very beginning, you're still going to be learning all this stuff, and that's totally okay. It took me a long time to get up to that level, but what's great about that is I can do other things. When you time block, when you block out a section of time per day where you can write all your emails, and let's say it's 2 hours. You take 2 hours of your day and you write 3 to 4 to 5 emails, and you schedule them out over the next 3 to 4 to 5 days. Now, on the other days that you're not writing emails, you can do other things, like you can make a video. You could record a video, put it on YouTube, and teach somebody how to block and write emails. You could create a video that shows people how to use the autoresponder. You could create a video that shows people how to add, friends on Facebook, and we'll touch on that in a little bit. But teach them how to create a crafty post on Instagram. Teach them something, but use that time that you're not writing emails because you blocked your time out to give value in other ways, to teach people other things, or to go learn other things, to read a personal development book, or watch another webinar and learn how to do other things. But when you can really block your time and get ahead of yourself and plan your day out, like I said, one of the things that I'm still working on to this day right now, live at 11 a.m. Eastern time. I'm still working on my consistency, but I am consistently consistent, if that makes sense. And that's one thing that I've prided myself on over the last year, is being very, very, very consistent. And that consistency has gotten me the results that I'm at now. So if you can just work on this stuff, guys, write it down and just ingrain it in your memory. But if you can become very consistent in a consistent emailing machine, a consistent content creating machine, a consistent learner, all of those things, if you can do all of those things, then you will also get consistent results.
Amen, brother. I learned this from Dan. This is a perfect example of ILT. Let's see. All right, ready, fire, aim. That's like get ready, send your broadcast out there, and then you're going to continually tweak and modify, based on your open and click rates that you're receiving. So like what you're doing is, you're staying consistent, you're growing your list, and then you're modifying your frequency rates, how often you send, and you're just kind of monitoring data and then tweaking it however you can get the best results. Little Gary V, jab, 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 right hook, right? So that's just value, 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 and then freaking deliver that message, that what you want them to do. You want to convert them from a lead into a sale. So that is really the complete objective of your campaign, right? With meshing your ratio from value to sales, right? Okay, communication is key with this, right? So staying authentic, communicating your message, and just staying consistent with it, and just dropping the value, like your tips and tricks and how to. Another quick tip that I'll share that I learned from Dan is to create a video on YouTube, and then you can just take that YouTube link and put it into your message. So it's like you're connecting with them in a different way, and they can see like, hey, there's a person behind this message that is really cares and wants to deliver value and connect with me. All right, and then the last piece is the fortune is in the follow-up, man. Like if this is key, write this down, do whatever you have to do. Like stay consistent in the follow-up. Perfect example. I had a lead join in April that converted into a paid member in June. All right, so never discount that your leads are going anywhere. They're always watching, regardless of your conversion and your click rates and how often people open. They're there. People are getting your messages, so always follow up with them. Okay, so now we're gonna kind of discuss the call to action, and how you can use influential words, persuasive words, power words, and action words to just make your call to action stand out and pop to your lead, to make them want to click on your link and see what's on the other end of the offer, because words do matter, and it can be the difference of 1 to 2 words in your sentence that make it go from a bounce to a conversion. All right, and here are just some of the examples that, these are some of the go-to words and phrases that I used. You can just look. I'm not going to read through all of them, but what I do want to say that Dan covered earlier is that this replay will be posted, and that you can come back here and use this as a template to get inspired, use some of these words to start crafting and putting into your call to actions, right? But you can also Google power words, action words, influential words, words to inspire, team cohesion and encouragement, right? But just always try to be thinking, learning, and using powerful words within your message. And these are some of the specific call to actions that I have used. So we've got stop fooling around and lock in your spot before the prices go up, right? I'm starting with stop because it's a negative word that is showing someone how to avoid a particular thing. In this case, they're going to lock in their spot before their prices go up. So there's a lot of theory behind the specific words that you choose. It's really all about up to you and what you want to use and how to get your call to actions to stand out there. But these are some of the ones that I've used and have good open and click rates. So feel free, when this does get recorded and is posted as a replay, that you can come back here and use this, tweak it a little bit. If it's not for you, right on. These have been pretty successful for me, but we'll just leave that up there for you. And we're getting toward the end. Sorry, I'm kind of going quick because we're kind of going over a little bit. Sorry, Janet. And then we touched on this morning, how to make your images clickable. Dan created a solid 3-minute video that went in depth on how to do it. Super easy, right? So if you're in your lead capture system and you're creating an email, you're going to step 1, click image edit button right here, and then you're just going to copy your link, right? And then your picture is going to show up wherever you can center it. You can put it to the left or the right. And then step 2 is your hyperlink button. You're just going to highlight your image and then paste your URL into this dialog box that opens, and then that's it. Boom, you've just made your images interactive with your fan base and your list. One thing I will say is just always test. Like, have a test campaign that you can test, 1, to proofread, and then 2, to make sure the URLs are working, as well as the images with URLs are working, because I can't tell you how many times that I've just blasted, and I'm not perfect, I make mistakes, I make typos, I'm not the best at that, but I do try to test every single one. That way you can proofread, make sure everything flows, and every URL works, because you don't want to send out like the best email that you've ever crafted, and then you find out that your URLs aren't working, and then you have to send it out again, and it just doesn't really flow. And coming up to the end, I'm going to close with, two of my favorite quotes. I know that Dan's favorite quote is that first one, "Success is a learnable skill" by T. Harv Eker. Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. This book has not left my desk in 6 months. Highly recommend it. And if you want something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done. Thomas Jefferson, founding forefather of America. And, we're coming up on July 4th with the Declaration of Independence. But those are two of my favorite quotes. I have them written down on my vision board and on my mirror. But with that being said, Dan, you have anything you want to add to those couple last slides that we went through?
Yeah, man, I think, circle it all the way back to the very beginning when we were talking about making that decision to get started. So looking at all of what we covered is, some of this stuff, especially for you guys that are new, that are watching this stuff, it might be so far over your head. And that's totally okay. Don't let that overwhelm you, and don't think that, oh my goodness, I could never learn this. Eliminate those words like never, can't, won't, get those out of your vocabulary and think that, hey, a year ago, I didn't know how to do this stuff. I didn't know how to do, look at us today. We couldn't figure out how to get a presentation to show on the screen, okay? So we're learning this stuff as we're going. But that's just the thing, because we made that decision that we wanted a result. Today, or a couple days ago, Matt and I made the decision that we wanted to give a value webinar on Saturday. And we've never used the presentation software. But guess what? We figured out how to do it, because we decided that we wanted a result. We wanted that result to be value to, folks that are watching this. But if you've joined Now Lifestyle, if you're in a network marketing business and you want a result, it's like, as long as you make that decision that you want a result, then you'll figure out how to get that stuff along the way.
We did.
And 100% success is a learnable skill. So as long as you decide that you want a result, then you can figure out how to do stuff. Just be resourceful. Don't sit there and go, oh, my upline never shows me anything. I can never get any help. Blah, 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 blah. Wah, wah, wah. Go on YouTube. Go to Google. Okay, listen, this is real life, okay? I have downstairs in my basement, I have a tankless water heater. We don't have one of the big holding tanks. We have a tankless system. It's kind of new. And 2 days ago, our hot water stopped working. So my first reaction was to call the plumbing company and say, hey, blah, 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 blah. But I knew they would probably charge me $100 an hour just to walk in the door. And this was 8 o'clock at night. I have a family. I have a wife, son, me, whatever. We can't not have hot water. But also, I'm very resourceful. So what did I do? I went to YouTube and I went to Google. And then I just typed in the model of my tankless water heater. And I found this group chat. Go figure, right? I found a group chat where this one guy said, oh, do this. And it literally took me about 10 minutes of research. I went downstairs. I found a drain plug. I undid the drain plug. I drained some of the excess water out that was causing a clog. Turned the power back on, and I had hot water. Okay? Now, I know a hot water heater doesn't have to do with network marketing, but it's the point that if you want to figure out how to do something, guys, you will find a way to do it. You will figure out. Michael Klaus is a very famous network marketer, and he has a very famous line, just like a lot of these other famous lines that we're using, but he says, I will find a way to make this work, okay? I will find a way. So that's just it, man. You just got to make that decision. If you want a result, if you want to travel, spend more time with your family, more money to do the things that you want to do, you got to find a way. So years ago, Matt and I didn't know how to craft emails. Now we do. So maybe a year from now, you'll be doing a presentation and teaching people how to craft perfect emails or write better emails. And one of my favorite quotes, and kind of leave you guys with this, one of my favorite quotes is from a guy named Jim Rohn. And he says, if you want to do something, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse. Couldn't be any more true. If you really want something, if you really want to change, if you really want a result in your life, you'll find a way to get it. If you don't, you'll just come up with an excuse as to, I can't, I'm this, I'm that, oh, woe is me, wah, 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 okay? So you can either go for it or you can come up with an excuse as to why you can't. But if you're watching this right now, know that I'm a living example of what can happen if you go for something. Matt is a living example. Janet is a living example. You guys just got to decide that you want a result. So figure it out. And we're here to help. That's why we do these webinars, to show you more of the technical stuff. But it's all in your head, man. The only thing stopping you is the person looking you back in the mirror. That's it. That's it. So, I don't know, man. Matt, I want to give you a huge shout out. This was actually Matt's very first, full-on live presentation. He's come on as a guest with me before, but I just want to throw out a big shout out to Matt and say, thanks, brother. I thought that was a great amount of value. Appreciate you taking the time to put all these slides together. So, either on Facebook, let's show a lot of hearts and love for Matt. If you guys are here in the chat room, throw a bunch of A's down in the comments there and show a lot of love for Matt. Really appreciate you guys jumping on with us on this Saturday morning, Canada Day, and a lot of other things going on. Yeah, the A's are blowing up. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, Matt, any last words, brother?
I do, man. I'm like, I could just repeat everything you said, but, everything that Dan said, like, take that to heart, write that down, like, take action and make a decision. However, I want to leave you with this, like, if whoever brought you into this webinar, if you're already within NLS or you're still making your decision and you've made up your mind or you haven't, make sure you reach out to the person that sent you that link, because it's critical that you follow up with your specific mentor and your sponsor, because they've got a plan for you, and the team within NLS is unlike anything I've ever seen. Like the sponsor, all the leaders, the mentors, the training that's provided is all geared toward helping you build your business professionally and in a way that you can break it off piece by piece. And if it seems overwhelming, it doesn't have to be. Just break off one piece at a time, follow the training, reach out with any questions, and use your support group. Because if there's anything I can say is that this company will change your life, and it's really up to you to make the decision. And you're capable of doing a lot more than you think.
Yeah, buddy. And just so you guys know, I am putting both. I just dropped the Google Drive link into the chat box here on the webinar, and also on the Facebook Live on the Now Lifestyle forum with the slides. I made a PDF version of the slides, so you guys can download that and go through it, make some notes. You guys can actually take that and then re-watch this if you want to, and then take some notes as you're going through. But, hopefully you guys got some value out of today's webinar. Hopefully you guys learned, a couple of things at least and have some good takeaways. But remember, write the stuff down, ingrain it into memory, practice, practice, practice. Take massive, massive imperfect action. Don't worry about being perfect. Just take massive imperfect action. And like it said in one of the slides here, ready, fire, aim. Just get out there, take action, and then tweak as you go. Don't worry about failing. You're going to fail. You're going to mess up. You're going to piss somebody off. You're going to screw up. Get over it. Who cares? You're learning. Get out there, have some fun, go kick some butt. And other than that, I think we're good to go. I'm going to go hang out with my kid and probably take a dip in the pool. So anything else? We good?
We're good. Thank you, guys. Make it a great day. Happy Canada Day.
All right, guys. Peace out. Later.